Israel's fighting a 10-front war for its existence. Number one, Iran. Number two, Palestinian Authority, threat to Israel's existence. Number three, cyber attacks from Iran in particular. Number four, Iran's invading Syria and Iraq. Number five, ISIS is invading Sinai. Number six, Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, has taken over Gaza because Israel gave it to them. Number seven, the Bedouins are stealing the land illegally, and the Israeli government's doing almost nothing about it. Number eight, Israel has to protect its offshore gas fields. Number nine, the UN, EU, International Criminal Court, and NGOs, I call cultural terror organizations, have declared war on Israel and on Western civilization, by the way. And number 10, Hezbollah, Iran's agents in Lebanon and Syria and Iraq, are building their strength and wherever they can. So this is Israel's 10 challenges that it must confront. And it's doing a relatively good job on each of the fronts, but is a little confused on some of the fronts also. But in general, Israel knows what it's doing. But I just want to conclude this page with two observations. There can be no peace plan in the Middle East until Iran and the Muslim Brotherhood are destroyed. That's the key issue that you have to understand, is Israel cannot make progress in anything that people consider to be peace until the forces of evil have been destroyed. It's like talking in 1939 and saying we can have peace in the world, yeah, after Germany and Japan are destroyed, but you can't have a peace plan until Germany and Japan are destroyed. Similarly, in the Middle East, you cannot have a peace plan until Iran and the Muslim Brotherhood are destroyed unconditionally, unconditional surrender. Number two, in the interim, I'm a fan of status quo, but I call it status quo plus, where Israel can, in America, can improve the positioning of Israel through unilateral actions because there's nobody to negotiate with. And so Israel should take over the educational system in Eastern Jerusalem, which it has not done after all these years. There's still the UN UNRWA organization miseducating Arab children. Israel should close that down and take it over. Israel should annex certainly Area B and C, and in time, Area A. And number three, as Sam mentioned, basically eliminate the Palestinian Authority, move back to basically city-states like the UAE, where the cities run their own affairs. So let's now flip it over, and I'm going to discuss the world. The world, we are now in World War III. We don't know that, but I promise you we're in World War III. And the fight is between democracies and dictatorships. Half of the people in the world live in democracies. We call that Western civilization. Half the people live in dictatorships. We call that dictatorships. And there's basically a battle between democracies and dictatorships. And right now it's a balance of power between the two. So I took the statue of Atlas holding up the world as a metaphor. And Atlas is holding up the world, which is Western civilization plus the dictatorships, roughly 7 billion people. And who's holding up Atlas? There's three documents that hold up Atlas. The Old Testament, Bible, Torah, we call that Judeo. The New Testament, we call that Christian. And then the secular law, we call that Constitution and Bill of Rights. These three documents give Atlas the moral courage and moral authority to match his strength, so to speak, to hold up the world. So who's trying to destroy Atlas? Who's trying to destroy Western civilization? Basically two groups of people called the Reds and the Greens. The Reds are the socialist, communist, progressives, who are actually regressives. And they're big government types. They basically want dictatorship by an elite group of people so they can steal all the money and everybody else can live in poverty. We have a special name for them. They're called Democrats. Or in England, the Labour Party. It's the left wing of the Democratic and Labour parties that are basically out of control. And they personify the Reds, as do China and Russia, two of the largest dictatorships, and most of the Muslim world. And then we have the Islamists. These are people who use the Muslim religion as a political movement in order to take over the world and force everybody to be their brand of Muslim. And there's three political Islam terror organizations in particular around the number one. Number two, the Muslim Brotherhood. Number three, ISIS. ISIS is not doing so well, but Iran and the Muslim Brotherhood, as I said before, have to be defeated, as do the leftists in America and other countries, because right now they are attacking the Constitution. They're attacking the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, and if we allow them to continue to attack our values, they will corrupt our values and take over. So we don't know this, but we have to destroy the leftists and the Islamists before they destroy us. And that's what I call World War III. And it'll be a lot of fun over the next two generations. And the next two generations will dictate whether our grandchildren live in freedom and prosperity or under dictatorships. And our job is to make sure they live in freedom and prosperity. Thank you for your time.